what is NgRx like? Can you explain about NgRx features?
Yeah, like to handle the large data, we use NgRx Store. We have initial state. States are immutable, and we have actions and reducers. So if I want to click off a button, I can dispatch actions. So reducers are pure function. It takes state and actions. So if on a dispatch of a action, this reducers will take the state and it will create a new updated state. And we have selectors. Selectors basically I can get the data from the state. It returns me an observable. So I have to subscribe to the selectors to get the data. And we have effects. So basically effects is a injectable service. So we in the constructor we have to initialize the action list, and by doing off type I can listen to a particular action. So whenever the particular action, suppose the login action is dispatched, we can have a login effects. So we can do a API call. On a success of API we can have a login success actions and login failure actions. Again this will have a reduces, login success reduces. This will update the state data.
Okay, so how like how different it is from the normal Angular functions what we use? Some say suppose some services what we use in Angular. So how different it is in NgRx using NgRx?
Yeah, like services, basically if it's a simple application we can use services getter and setter method to set the data. But if the application gets bigger, it is very difficult to handle the data. So that is why we are using NgRx Store. And with the NgRx Store, if I want to load any lazy loaded modules, I can load the data later by using like store module dot for feature. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay, so like as you told that example like login page, right?
Hmm.
For that login page we use same like in Angular also we use login feature, and using Angular only we will implement login. So is that the only reason like it is for big application you use NgRx, or any other reasons also?
Like uh, we don't have to do multiple API calls and all, like every time that state data is maintained in the NGRX store. We can fetch from there every time.
Okay. Um, like can you explain me about some of the Angular features?
Like we can create a lazy loading of modules. Like in Angular all the modules will be loaded on load of application. We can load modules on demand, whichever not needed at the load of application we can load them at later part of our journey. So by this we can improve our application performance. And we have in the latest version we have standalone components, where we can create a components which will be not part of any modules. So all boilerplate for module code we don't have to write, we just can import the modules and we can use as a standalone components. Also
Okay.
we have like tree shaking concept in latest versions. By using this during compilation, unwanted unused codes like unused functions or variables we defined in our code during compilation, this will be removed as part of a tree shaking, so it will enhance our application performance. And we have in latest version of Angular 17 we have a concept called defer loading, where we can delay the loading of elements in our components.
Okay. So where you have used defer loading? You have used anywhere?
No, I have just gone through the like Angular 17 concept. I not you like we can
Okay.
load elements. Like if I want to on scroll, I want to show some elements. Those all those elements I can load lazily.
Okay. Mm, like we'll go for some JavaScript concepts. Like you know about closure.
Yeah, closure is basically function with its lexical scope is called closure. So every function in JavaScript has its outer lexical has access to outer lexical scope. Whenever we call this function in other different scope, it remembers its older lexical scope. Basically function is closure is like set timeout is a closure. Function currying we use closure. we can use closure in data encapsulation. Like we can hide few properties by using closure.
Okay. Mm, so, what about hosting?
Yeah, we in hoisting, when we do a variable hoisting in JavaScript, declarations are moved to the top, not the initialization. But
Mm-hmm.
we hoist latent cons, they are hoisted in a temporal dead zone, like they are hoisted in some script tag. And if we try to access them before, we get a reference error. If we do for function hoisting, function definitions are hoisted for a normal functions. So we can call the function before. If we return at the anywhere, we can call it at the top functions.
Okay. Mm, like, what is like some of the concepts like objects we use, like how to copy objects, or deep copy, shallow copy. Can you explain about that?
Yeah, if I want to do a shallow copy, top level objects are copied and by reference. uh, Other nested elements will be copied by reference. We can use spread operators and object.assign. If we want to do deep copy, we can do by using JSON parse and stringify. All nested object also
So,
will be copied by values.
okay, so where we are using that, basically, like, have you used anywhere this type of concepts, like shallow copy, deep copy?
Yeah, like if I want to create any a new object from the older object, I want to copy all the properties. We use deep copy
Okay.
and shallow copy. Like if I want to do a deep copy, we can write on recursive function also, or we can use lodash deep equals to deep prop clone deep clone, that also we can use.
Okay. Um, in your application, like you have authentication, like auth guards. Have you worked on auth guards, or what type of authentication you are using?
Yeah, like we have implemented in our application, we have a few HCMP admin pages where if I want to, whenever we navigate into that page, if a user with the admin roles only will be able to access the HCMP admin page. So we have used canActivate route guard. This route guard
Mm,
is basically, it returns a boolean value. So it implements a canActivate interface. So in the canActivate method, we can check if the user had logged in. Once the user is logged in, we will have the user uh, roles. In that we can check if it is a normal or admin user. Depending on that, we can navigate, or else we can navigate to him to a different page.
so, for those type of like navigations, you are using auth guards, and how you are implementing the auth guard, like using NgRx, you are sending like request to backend, or how you are authenticating that user?
Yeah,
Like
authentication
what?
authentication is basically using the effects. We are calling the API, and we are
Okay.
once a user is entered username and password, we are calling login effects. In that we are calling the login API, and we after that we will have one more few actions: login success and login failure actions. Success actions will store this encrypt the data and encrypt the response delivery token and store it. Once success, we'll have the
Mm,
user data.
okay. So, so have you, are you using RxJS also?
Yeah, we are using RxJS operators.
Okay. So, what are like subjects and observables?
uh, Subjects basically, if I want to, it is observable and observer. If in a component A, if any change is happening, if I want to detect the change and if I want to emit this change to different component, then I can use subjects. So by using subjects dot next, I can emit a change, and subject is as observable, I can subscribe to it. Observable is like basically it will emit a stream of a data. We have to subscribe to that data.
So, okay. So, like using observable, we cannot do dot next and uh, change the value of that observable, or we cannot
Yeah, we
have
can
the stream of
we can do it. We can do it.
so then it becomes a subject or it is observable.
Then observables also we can create again. See if it is a returning observable. Again we have to create an as a new observable and we can emit it doing dot next.
Okay. So some of the
Multicasting we use subjects.
okay. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, like if we are having a stream of data and we are subscribing to it, and then it will be observable. Then, if we are using it as a defining it as a subject, then it will be multicasted to any other components or features we can use, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And what are some like type of subjects? Like what all the subjects type we have? Like
Yeah, we
what we
have
can use?
one is normal subjects and one is a behavior subject. Behavior subject we can send the initial data and it will give a last emitted data, and we can have one more replay subject. We can get the emitted stream of data, how many emitted stream we want last, we can get using replay subjects.
Okay, so if it's observable or a stream of data returning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Hmm.
so how this replay subject and behavior subject will behave when we subscribe to at any point of time, like how they will behave.
Yeah, like a behavior subject will give me the latest emitted data. In a replay subject I
Okay.
can send, I can get the number of emitted data, like, and I can pass how many emission, last emission, latest emissions I want, set of emissions I
So
can get.
if for example, if that observable is emitting a stream of data that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at an interval of like 1 second.
Mhm.
So if we are subscribing using behavior subject and replace subject at like some point of time, say suppose it is emitting 3, like how it will display for the behavior subject and replay subject.
Yeah, for behavior subject, so last after 3 second, 1 2 3 third value we will get. So after third millisecond, 3 will be given to behavior subject. But in the replay subject, we can get what latest value, last emitted value. If I give some values, 3 2 1 1 2 3, all will be printed.
All will be printed.
Like I can send how many emissions I want.
Okay. 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 So, and that behavior subject will have initial value, right?
Yeah, we can send the initial data in behavior subject.
Okay. Um, Sending one code. Can you tell me about single equals to, double equals to, and triple equals to in JavaScript?
Yeah, single equal to is like we can assign a variable. Double equal to will not check for the type. So triple equal to is a strict type. It will match for type and then value.
Have you used Angular pipes?
Yeah, I have used Angular pipe.
Can you explain me pure pipes, impure pipes? What is the difference between them?
Yeah, pipes are basically used to transform the data. So we have pure and impure pipe. Pure pipes actually changes whenever the property value changes. Impure pipe will changes when every change detection it will be changing. So it is just a basically dirty check. Impure pipe we are using as async pipe, that is a we don't have to do subscribe and all, so we use async pipe, that is a impure pipe. In current project we have created on pure pipe. By default pipe will be pure, so we have created on sanitized HTML pipe. So this will basically, if we want to inject HTML skeleton into our DOM, before injecting we want to sanitize the DOM. So we want to check for any special characters and all, so we have created this sanitized HTML pipe. So basically we have to implement a pipe transform interface, and we have pipe transform method. In this we have to write a logic for the pipe.
Okay. Mm, So, in RxJS, what is the difference between mergeMap and switchMap?
uh, Actually, smudge map will not wait for previous subscription to be completed. It will call as they come in, so it will give us a array of observables. Switch map will what it will do is like we have implemented on search functionality in our application. Whenever we type, we have to call an API and we have to show the data. In that we have used debounce time to give a buffer time to user, and we have used a switch map, so it will not so it will cancel the old subscription and it will give the latest search result. Latest subscription it will give, it will cancel the previous subscriptions.
Okay, what is map then?
Map is basically just to transform the data, we use map operator.
Okay, so and concat map?
Concat map basically it will preserve the order, like if I am calling, it will call the observables one after completing one after one, so we'll get the response also in the same order where they are triggered.
Okay. So when we have some multiple APIs to call, so parallelly how we can achieve that?
Yeah, in our application we have used fork join to call multiple APIs parallelly, so if any one of the API fails, we'll get the error. If both APIs are successful, then only we'll get the resulted data.
Okay, so if we want to do it in JavaScript,
Then we can use mm, uh, promises, like
okay,
promise APIs are there. We can same thing we can use with promise all. Promise all is basically call all the APIs, and if any one of the API fails, if any one of the API fails, it will give us the error. But if we want, we can use promise all settled also, so it will wait for all the APIs to finish in promise all settled.
so have you used async await keywords like in your function implementation? How those will work? Can you explain me?
Yeah, like basically to change the synchronous function, we can use asynchronous function. So async basically will return me a promise, async function. So by when we use await keyword, we it will resolve the promise. We don't have to do dot then and all when we use await.
Mm, okay. Uh, so in CSS, have you used any of the frameworks or how you are implementing?
Yeah, we are using
Mm,
bootstrap to make the application responsive. Like it divides
okay.
row into 12 columns, and it gives us different classes. We use it from bootstrap, and also we use display flex to arrange in the different direction, column row direction. We can move elements also without changing their actual positions.
So, have you what is the difference between flex and grid?
mm, Flex is basically uh, we can move the elements, like using directions. We can give the directions column and row, and we in orders also we can change without changing their actual orders. Grid is basically divides the application,
Mm-hmm.
like I think
Application will.
one of doesn't work in Internet Explorer, something like grid.
Okay.
I'm thinking grid doesn't work in IE.
Okay. So grid is also similar to flex.
Yeah, like we want to create any layouts, we use a grid, and so we had like input inquiry many layouts there. We to create a layout, we use grid and flex.
Okay. Uh, so in Angular, have you which of the form types you have used? Which form implementation?
Yeah, I have used template
Uh,
driven forms
have
and
you used
reactive forms.
forms? Okay, both of them you have used.
Yeah, I have used.
Okay. So, have you implemented any custom validators?
Yeah,
Can you,
using abstract
mm,
control we can create a custom validators.
okay, can you write a syntax for that validator to implement, or that function? How you implement? So you have used both of them, template driven and reactive forms also.
Yeah, both I have used.
So you are using template driven now, or reactive only?
Like we have custom controls, right? So we have to we are like exposing this component to other module teams, so we will be demoing this type of controls in both forms, like template driven how to use it, and in the reactive form how to use it. Like these controls will be not binded to directly to reactive form. We have to use a control value accessor to make this to bind to the parent reactive form. We using both to demo our custom elements.
So since you are using that NgRx, and you are using Angular lifecycle hooks also,
Yeah, correct.
can you list me the lifecycle hooks which all you have used and which all are there in Angular?
Yeah, like first is like ng on changes. Whenever input property value changes, this ng on changes lifecycle hook will be called. Then we have ng on in it. So on initialization of a component, this ng on it will be called. This will be called only once. Then we have ng do check. So every chain detection, this ng do check will be called. It is for as a dirty checking. And we have ng after weave in it. So once the weave is initialized, this will be called ng after weave. So then we have ng content in it. So it is also once content is initialized and projected, the ng content in it will be called. Then we have ng on destroy. So whenever we are moving out of a component, we if we are doing any subscription in our component, that subscription will be there in the component. If you're moving away from the component, we want to destroy those subscriptions, which will cause a memory leak. So we will be unsubscribing those subscriptions in ng on destroy lifecycle hook.
Yeah. So what are standalone components, or and why we need standalone components in,
Yeah,
that is the new concept, right?
yeah, correct.
Standalone concept.
Like in a standalone components, basically, it if I want to create a component, I have to define that component in the declaration of a module every time. So I have to be
Okay.
there should be one module. But in standalone, there should not there is no need of a module. We can directly declare directly create a component by using standalone property as true, and we can imports. We have imports property. In that we can import modules required to the standalone component. Like boilerplates, we can reduce all writing module codes.
Okay. So what are some types of techniques we have to share the data between components?
Yeah, if we want to send a data from parent to child component, we can use input property decorator and send a data from parent to child component. If I want to send any data from child to parent component, then I can use output event emitter. By I can emit an event from a child to parent component. And also we have view child and view children. By this we can get an access of child and children from a child component. And if we have a sibling component, we can create a service and we can share a data between different components. Also we can use subjects to share a data, and we can use routes also. In the query parameters we can send a data.
Mm. Yeah, have you used any unit testing concepts, in Angular? Have you implemented any unit testing,
Yeah, we are working.
compilers?
Yeah, we are working on using Karma and Jasmine to write test cases. Basically
Mm-hmm.
we follow that AAA standard, Arrange-Act-Assert. Like basically we create a test bed which will configure the initial setup. Like it will have a dependency component modules services. If we have services, we can mock the services, and we create a fixture which will create an instance of a component. So in the described test suite we can write different test cases. In the it we can write a test individual test cases, and we can call the component methods, and we can add like expect this to be true or something like that. We can write test cases, and
So you are so you are implementing unit test cases like after implementation of the feature, or you are implementing test cases before only?
no, we are implementing like when when we done coding, then we are writing test cases. Then like we have this checklist for the PR, like we are checking for branch and test function coverage is 90%. So once this is satisfied, then only it will allow us to merge to the dev branch.
So have you thought about the concept like first we will implement the um, test cases, or first we will write the test cases and then implement the component or features what we want to develop, like how it will work, like what is a thinking of yours, like if we are doing in a reverse way, like first we will implement the unit test cases and then implement the functionality.
Hmm. Yeah, like in this hacker rank tests and all we take, right? So in that whenever we take tests, so we check for the test cases. So initially tests are written, so we are writing our code against the test cases, so that will be a better improvement of our per application function coverage.
Okay.
So like we are already defined our test cases, so on depending on that we are writing our logic code.
Okay. What is like we use, why do we use strict like that in our JavaScript file?
uh,
That
like
keyword, use strict keyword.
yeah, like so by using strict, like like everything should be declared at the top.
Okay.
Like scope
So
also
can you tell
changes.
me the difference between that variable declaration, like var, let, const?
Mhm. Like yeah, like when we don't use strict, the variable declarations are moved to the top, not the initialization. So
Okay.
with strict this will change. Scope also when we do dot, when we do this use the keyword, that the scope also will change with strict. Like the let and const are hoisted in a temporal dead zone, like we cannot access them before its initialization. We'll get a reference error.
Okay. Mm, why do we use z-index? Like
Yeah,
how it will use,
yeah,
it will work, or
yeah, like to make the div on the top of one div, so whichever have the z index higher, it will be visible top. Like it will, like if I have two divs, one is z index 1 and one z index 2, the z index having higher will be the overlap, will overlap on one div. When we are doing that hover and all, when we showing like overlay, all those things we use z index.
yeah, quickly, can you tell me this output? What will be the output? Like I'm send two double equals to two in an array.
False, I guess.
Okay, why false?
Because it has like memory locations are being compared,
Okay, so that is like they are having same value, right? But
but different allocation will be there.
okay, okay, yeah. I'm done with the